Welcome to Heart of the Guardians, where every story touches your soul and reminds you that kindness and fate often meet in the most unexpected ways. Today's story is about a young woman who was humiliated by those she trusted, only to have her life changed forever by a man no one expected. So, sit back, relax, and open your heart to this unforgettable story. It all began on a rainy Thursday evening in the heart of the city. The lights of cafes and restaurants reflected off the wet streets, and people hurried by, shielding themselves with their umbrellas. Inside a small but elegant restaurant, a group of young office workers sat laughing at a corner table. They worked together in a design company, and among them was a shy, quiet girl named Emily. Emily had always been the kind of person who faded into the background. She came from a modest family, worked hard, and rarely joined in the gossip or after-work drinks. Her clothes were simple, her hair always neatly tied, and her smile, though genuine, was often overlooked. To some of her co-workers, her humility made her an easy target. That night, while the group chatted about dating and love, one of them, a woman named Clara, smirked and whispered something to her friend. Clara had always had a cruel streak hidden behind her perfect smile. She loved attention and despised how Emily's quiet nature often made people admire her sincerity. "You know what would be hilarious?" Clara said, leaning closer. "We should set Emily up on a blind date. Tell her he's someone amazing, but make it a complete joke." Her friend giggled. "You mean, like, catfishing her?" "Exactly," Clara said with a grin. "Let's say he's a rich businessman, someone completely out of her league. We'll tell her he's looking for something serious. I want to see how far she goes pretending to be someone she's not." The idea spread among the group like wildfire. A few hesitated, feeling it was too mean, but Clara's influence was strong. Soon, they created a fake profile on a dating app using photos of an unknown man they found online. A man in a tuxedo, clearly wealthy, standing next to a luxury car. They named him Adrian Blackwood. The group decided to send Emily a message through the app, pretending to be this mysterious, charming billionaire. When Emily received the message, she was sitting in her small apartment, surrounded by sketches and half-finished art pieces. She stared at the message, unsure what to think. "Hello, Emily," it read. "I saw your profile and found your words refreshing. You seem real, and that's rare. Would you like to meet for dinner?" Her heart fluttered. She wasn't used to getting attention, especially not from someone who seemed so confident and refined. For hours she debated whether to reply. Eventually, with trembling fingers, she typed, "That would be lovely." When and where? The next day at work, Clara and her friends were nearly bursting with laughter. They had already decided where the date would take place, a luxurious restaurant downtown called the Grand Orchid. It was the kind of place where one meal cost more than Emily made in a week. They told her the man had reserved a private table and would be waiting at 8 o'clock sharp. "You have to go, Emily," Clara said, pretending to be supportive. "Who knows, maybe he's your soulmate." Emily smiled shyly. "You really think so? It sounds too good to be true." Clara patted her hand, feigning sincerity. "Sometimes, good things happen to good people. You deserve it." That evening, Emily stood before her small mirror, trying to choose what to wear. Her wardrobe was modest, no fancy dresses, no designer shoes. Finally, she picked a simple blue dress her mother had given her years ago. She brushed her hair, added a touch of lipstick, and whispered to her reflection, "Just be yourself." The rain had stopped when she arrived at the Grand Orchid. The golden lights glowed softly through the tall windows. She hesitated at the door, clutching her small purse. The maitre d' looked at her with mild surprise but led her to a corner table after she explained she had a reservation under Adrian Blackwood. The table was set for two, with fine crystal glasses and candles flickering gently. Minutes turned into half an hour. Emily waited patiently, checking her phone. She sent a polite message. "Hi, I'm here. Are you on your way?" No reply. The waiter returned twice, asking if she wanted to order. Each time, she said softly, "I'll wait a little longer." Meanwhile, across the street, Clara and her group sat hidden in another cafe, watching through the window with their phones recording. They giggled as they saw Emily sitting there, nervously glancing around. "She really believes it," one of them whispered. "Poor thing." Clara smirked. "Let's see how long she waits. I'll post this later." Maybe she'll finally realize she's not meant for that kind of life. But fate has a strange way of turning cruel jokes into miracles. At that very moment, a man entered the restaurant. Tall, well-dressed, with calm confidence in his stride. He looked around, scanning the room as if searching for someone. The waiter approached him. "Good evening, Mr. Blackwood. Your usual table." The group across the street froze. The man, an actual Adrian Blackwood, was real. He wasn't a fake profile. He was one of the city's most private billionaires, the owner of several successful companies. The photo they had stolen for the fake account was indeed his. Adrian nodded politely and began walking to his usual corner. But as he passed by, his gaze landed on Emily. She was sitting alone, her fingers nervously twisting the edge of her napkin. There was something about her, something real, something genuine, that caught his attention. He paused and asked the waiter quietly, "Is that lady waiting for someone?" "Yes, sir," the waiter replied. "A reservation under your name, actually." Adrian frowned. "Under my name?" "Yes, Mr. Blackwood. She said she was meeting you for dinner." Curiosity sparked in his eyes. He walked toward her table and said gently, "Excuse me. Are you waiting for someone named Adrian Blackwood?" Emily looked up, startled. "Oh, yes, I am. Are you him?" He smiled faintly. "I am, but I think there's been some misunderstanding." Embarrassment washed over her face. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I think someone's played a prank on me." Her voice trembled. She began to stand, tears forming in her eyes. "I'm so sorry for the confusion. I'll leave." But Adrian held up his hand. "Please, sit down." His tone was kind but firm. "If someone played a prank on you using my name, then they owe you an apology. But that's not your fault. You're here now, and so am I. Would you have dinner with me?" She blinked in disbelief. "You want to have dinner with me?" "Yes," he said with a warm smile. "After all, I was planning to dine alone. And I could use some good company." Across the street, Clara and her group went silent. Their laughter died instantly as they watched the scene unfold. The real Adrian Blackwood, handsome, powerful, and calm, was sitting down with Emily, pulling out her chair like a gentleman. During dinner, Emily gradually relaxed. Adrian had a way of making people feel at ease. He asked her about her life, her work, her dreams. She told him about her love for art, how she wanted to open a small gallery someday but didn't have the means. She spoke softly, never trying to impress, just being honest. And Adrian listened, truly listened. He found her sincerity refreshing. Most people he met either feared him or tried to flatter him. But Emily was different. She asked him questions too, not about his wealth, but about his hobbies, his travels, his favorite books. For the first time in a long while, Adrian felt seen as a person, not a name or a fortune. When dessert arrived, Emily finally smiled, a genuine, radiant smile that made Adrian's chest tighten. She looked up and said, "Thank you. I know you didn't have to stay. You must think I'm silly." "Not at all," he said softly. "I think you're brave. You came here hoping for something good, even when the world has given you reasons to doubt. That takes courage." Her eyes glistened. "Most people don't say things like that. Most people don't see what I see," he replied. Outside, Clara's group began to panic. "We need to go," one of them whispered. "If he finds out, we're dead." But Clara couldn't look away. She felt something burning inside, shame, anger, maybe even regret. Her cruel joke had turned into something she couldn't control. As the night ended, Adrian walked Emily outside. The rain had begun again, soft and steady. He offered her his umbrella and smiled. "Can I give you a ride home?" She hesitated. "You don't have to. I insist," he said, gently guiding her toward his car. The black luxury car gleamed under the streetlights, and Emily's breath caught. It was like something out of a dream. When they arrived at her small apartment building, she turned to him and said, "Thank you for tonight. You turned what could have been a nightmare into something beautiful." He looked at her thoughtfully. "Can I see you again?" She blinked. "You'd want to see me again. I'd be a fool not to," he said with a smile. When she went inside, Clara's messages started flooding her phone. "Emily, wait. Don't tell him it was us. Please, we didn't mean it." But Emily didn't respond. She simply sat on her bed, holding her heart, unable to believe what had just happened. Over the next few weeks, Adrian and Emily continued to see each other. Their bond grew naturally. He admired her kindness, her honesty, and her quiet strength. She admired his humility, how he treated everyone with respect despite his power and wealth. Slowly, what began as a cruel prank turned into a love story no one expected. When Clara finally gathered the courage to confess, she approached Emily at work, tears in her eyes. "I'm sorry," she said. "It was me. I made the fake account. It was supposed to be a joke." Emily looked at her calmly. "I know. No. I figured it out," she said softly. "But I decided not to let your cruelty decide my worth." Clara's voice broke. "He knows, doesn't he?" "Yes," Emily said. "And he forgave you, too." Clara looked confused. "Why would he forgive me?" "Because," Emily said with a faint smile, "he believes everyone deserves a second chance. Just like I got one that night." Months later, at a quiet art exhibition opening, Emily stood beside Adrian as guests admired her work. Her dream had come true. Adrian had helped her start her own gallery, but he made sure everyone knew she earned it through her talent, not his money. The same people who once laughed at her now looked at her with admiration. As the night came to a close, Adrian raised a toast. "To Emily," he said proudly, "who reminds us that kindness is not weakness, and sincerity can turn even cruelty into grace." Tears filled her eyes as she whispered, "You changed my life." He smiled. "No, Emily. You changed mine." And in that moment, surrounded by light, laughter, and art, Emily realized something powerful, that sometimes, the world's cruelest jokes can lead to life's most beautiful blessings. Because destiny, as the heart of the Guardians always reminds us, has its own way of protecting those who stay pure, even when the world tries to break them. Thank you for watching Heart of the Guardians. If this story touched you, remember to share it with someone who needs hope today. Because you never know, your kindness might be the miracle someone's been waiting for.